Good evening, baseball fans. We're live in Port Angeles, Washington. Summer collegiate baseball is back on the Olympic Peninsula. It's the home opener for the Lefties as they take on the Springfield Drifters right here at Civic Field. I'm Evan Schmeiser, joined by Griff McClellan. We'll be bringing you the action all summer long for Lefties home games. What do you know, Griff? It's a rematch of the opening series. Springfield played host to Port Angeles to open the West Coast League season a week ago. The Drifters swept the Lefties in that three-game series. Opening night was a go either way, one-run loss. The next two, not particularly close. Griff, the Lefties absolutely need to set the tone for this home crowd.
They certainly do, Evan, and you're right. They're 1-5, not an ideal start for any team, obviously. But this has been a season of extremes up to this point for the Lefties. They've lost games by scores of 18-2, and they've also finished with games. We apologize for the interruption. As we were saying, this has been a season of extremes up to this point, very early. The Lefties lost their second game of the season 18-2 against this very opponent. They've lost close ones and run-one affairs too. Tonight, in their home opener, it's all about setting the tone, making their presence felt early. And tonight, it's not the most ideal weather. It's overcast, mid-50s, light rain in Port Angeles, but they're ready for this home crowd tonight.
I mean, Griff, I think you put it really, really nicely right there. What the Lefties need, they need a quality start right here from Drew Standen. And they're going to need him to keep him in the ballgame, and they're going to need to play strong defense behind him just to keep things close, especially against a really talented team like the Springfield Drifters starting off the year 5-1. Once you keep it close, then it's anybody's ball game, and then you get pretty excited. You really do.
And it's all about maintaining consistency for this Port Angeles Lefties squad. As we said, their results this season have been bipolar up to this point. Let's see if they can change that tonight. Meanwhile, Carlos Ramirez is making his debut for the Lefties tonight. What a night to do it in front of his home crowd.
We'll absolutely talk plenty about that, Griff. It is an exciting development. And so, of course, the aforementioned Drew Standen does draw the start. Tall right-handed pitcher out of the New Jersey Institute of Technology. Also a California guy from Aliso Viejo. Made 14 appearances, all out of the bullpen this past season. And digging into the box for the Drifters, it'll be Cole Cowning drawing the start at third base. Digs into the right-handed batter's box. Standen comes set. The first pitch, the fastball at the knees for a called strike one. We're underway. Right on the dot, 6:35, right here in Port Angeles, Washington. Turned into a pretty nice evening, to say the least. Next pitch, the fastball. That one misses a little outside. 1-1 the count to Cole Cannon. 54 degrees. There is a chance of scattered showers across the area. We've had on and off rain throughout the day, so keep an eye on that. For now, no rain, though. That 1-1 is fouled back into the screen. 1-2 the count. Standen trying to start things off pretty well for the Lefties. Trying to get the first batter, Cole Cowning. Everybody playing straight up on the infield. Not a whole lot of wind to speak of. The wind can get pretty wicked out here. And a breaking ball is taken just a little high, 2-2 the count. Cowning also off to a pretty good start, hitting .333 over his first 5 games, 4 doubles out of his 7 total hits. So he's been swinging a hot stick to start off. That fastball is taken outside, 3-2 the count. After working ahead, Standen has allowed the count to work back full. Pretty good battle from Cole Cowning. He comes set, working out of the stretch. Here's the 3-2 pitch. That one's fouled right into the screen. Pretty good battle from Cowning. To open up the game on an overcast evening in Port Angeles. On a clear day, we'd be able to see the Olympic National Park foothills off in the distance in right field. That is completely covered. Standen comes set. Here's the 3-2 again. And once again, the ball's fouled back into the screen. Really good battle from Cowning. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up as Cowning steps out for just a moment. to lead off the game in the top of the first inning for the Springfield Drifters. Here's the 3-2 again. That's taken upstairs, ball 4. Callan able to work his way aboard to lead off the ball game.
Now batting, number 7, the shortstop, Dawson Santana.
And that'll bring up Dawson Santana, hitting .217 in the early going in the West Coast League. 1 double, 3 RBIs to his credit. He has worked a pretty good on-base percentage, 3 walks to his credit. Pretty good lead at first from Callan. The first pitch is taken at the knees for a strike to Santana. The lefties will set up to turn 2. The shortstop, B.Y. Choi, and the second baseman, Roberto Nunez, pinch towards the second base bag a few steps. Good sized hold on the right side. A slide step from Stanton on the outside corner, called strike 2. Boy, Griff, you'd absolutely love a double play if you're the lefties. So once again, Stanton able to work ahead in the count. 0-2 to Santana. That's a breaking ball on the outside corner for a called strike 3. Dawson Santana goes down looking, 1 out in the top of the first.
Much needed for the lefties just now. Runner on first to begin for the Drifters, looking to extend the lefties' early pitching woes. But a key strikeout could potentially slow that damage down for the lefties.
Certainly a good feeling to come back with a punch-out after losing leadoff man and walking him. So it brings up Sam Lauderdale as he digs into the left-handed batter's box. Slide step from Stanton, and to swing and a miss from Lauderdale. Lauderdale, slow start for him. Limited appearances at the moment. 1 for 11 in his first 3 games. No RBIs, no extra base hits to his credit. Once again, big hole on the right side. This time for the lefties, that fastball's taken high. 1 out in the top of the first inning, scoreless ball game. The lefties getting underway in their home opener against the Springfield Drifters, having just played them a week ago, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast. Stanton comes set. He's working a pretty good pace. Looks like a changeup that bounces in the dirt. Pretty good play by the catcher, Sam Adams. As the count moves to 2-1, we'll take a look at the rest of the Drifter lineup real quick. Hitting fourth, will be Brady Culp. Ben Newton will be the 5th hitter, followed by Ryan Jeffrey. Nate May will hit 7th. Garrett Bowes will bat 8th. The next pitch is taken high. Cooper Mullins will be the DH, batting 9th for the Springfield Drifters, and Bridger Holmes will draw the start on the mound. Springfield trying to move to 6-1 on the young season. Stanton comes set, that 3-1, and called a strike. Bit of a belt-high strike right there. Lauderdale was just about ready to toss the bat aside. Stanton trying to avoid walking his second man in the inning. A double play would retire the side, though. And there goes the runner. That pitch is fouled back. Already the 4th foul ball in the inning. 4th foul ball with 2 strikes, that is, in the inning by Drifters hitters. It's always a really good sign for an opposing lineup. See more pitches. Drive the pitch count up. Once again, the runner goes. The pitch is swung on a miss. Throw down to second. Out is the call at second base. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. Really good play by Sam Adams. And that retires the side. No runs, no hits, and nobody left for the Springfield Drifters. We go to the bottom of the first. The lefties coming to bat for the first time at home. Welcome back to the bottom of the first inning, ladies and gentlemen. Evan Schmeiser joined by Griff McClellan. Lefties will be coming back up to bat for the first time. Jacob Pipersick, B.Y. Choi, Roberto Nunez, the three scheduled hitters this inning. They'll be opposed by Bridger Holmes. This will be his second start this season as his first pitch is on the inside corner for a called strike. 192 ERA for him overall. He went 4 2/3 innings against our lefties. That pitch is fouled at home plate, 0-2 the count. 8 strikeouts, 3 walks, 4 hits allowed in that ball game. So working around a little bit of traffic in relatively short outing. That's to be expected, though, especially early in a summer collegiate season. Quick 0-2 count to Pipersick, the center fielder. Holmes working out of the stretch. This time he leg kicks, and a breaking ball is way outside, 1-2 the count. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That's a fastball taken a little upstairs, 2-2 the count. Pipersick 3 for 16 overall to start the season. Just 1 RBI, no extra base hits, so he's looking to get it going. So he leads off the bottom of the first inning. Here's the 2-2. A breaking ball and a good one. Comes back on the inside corner for a called strike 3. One batter, 1 strikeout for Bridger Holmes. That brings up B.Y. Choi. Choi gets a nice round of applause from the Lefties faithful. Returner from last season. Former draft pick, actually, in the Korean Baseball League. He takes a first pitch. Looked like a changeup right at the knees for a strike.
And he led the team in home runs last summer with 4. Now he's back at the plate once again. Let's see what damage he can create.
Absolutely did. A check swing, and they appeal the call. He does go around, according to the umpire in the field. He's behind 0-2. Coming off a great season at the New Mexico Military Institute. 15 home runs just this past spring. He really found those power numbers. So he fouls that one in the air down the left field line, and it's going to loop out of play over towards the batting cage. Choi trying to stay alive, down 0-2 in the count. He also just transferred to Dallas Baptist University, so that's where he'll be playing his ball next spring. Digs back in with an open stance on the left side. He loops that towards center field. Coming on is Sam Lauderdale. Didn't have to move all that much. He's able to put it away. Quickly 2 up, 2 down for the lefties. It brings up Roberto Nunez. Drawing the start at second base, he'll dig into the right-handed batter's box. That first pitch, well, it gets a swing and a miss, but it goes straight to the backstop. Perhaps a little bit of a cross-up. Or maybe not so. Nate May, the catcher, isn't going out to talk to Holmes, so perhaps not a cross-up. Not used to seeing a swing through, but the ball just going straight to the backstop by barely touching the catcher's glove. So Nunez digs back in. He swings and misses at a breaking ball, 0-2 the count. Generally don't see that very much. 2 outs, nobody on base for the lefties in their half of the first inning in a scoreless ball game. Here's 0-2 from Holmes. Breaking ball, that one stays outside. So the count moves to 1-2. Nunez already digging back into the box. He fouls that one into the screen. Trying to stay alive, trying to give the lefties some kind of a rally. Nunez has been off to a really good start. 7 for 17 in his first 6 games. A home run, a couple doubles on the week-long road trip, 5 RBIs. Here's the 1-2 breaking ball. Looked like that went right over the head of Nunez. Looked for sure at our angle, Griff, that it was going to plunk him, but somehow it managed to get out of the way.
Dodged a huge bullet right there. See if he can convert here with 2 outs. Bottom of the first.
Well, here's the 2-2. Ball's on the ground towards the hole on the left side. That's going to get through for a base hit. Good work by Nunez. He's able to give the lefties a 2-out base runner. Didn't hit it all that hard, but just
Next at bat, your first
no chance to try and make a play.
32, Ethan Young.
As the cleanup man Ethan Young digs into the box, we'll take a look at the rest of the lefties lineup. Camden Coaster will be hitting fifth. Barrett Rose, the designated hitter, bats sixth, followed by Owen Alsop. Trent Jackson will bat eighth. Sam Adams, the catcher, will hit ninth. And, of course, Drew Standen, we already saw him in the first inning, draws the start on the mound. Swing at the first pitch. Hitting it foul is Ethan Young. So he's behind 0-1. Boy, talking to some of the guys, Ethan's a funny guy. I got to tell you. Always has some kind of self-effacing joke, especially when he has to run a lot, like on an extra base hit. That ball's towards the hole on the right side, and making the play deep in the hole is Ben Newton to be able to flip it to first for the out. 3 steps into the right field grass, he's able to make the play from the second base spot. So that retires the side for the lefties. No runs, 1 hit, and a man left. We're through 1 full at Civic Field in a scoreless ball game.
Welcome back to Port Angeles, folks. I'm Griff McClellan, joined by Evan Schmeiser once again. We begin the top of the second inning.
Yeah, it's absolutely great to be here, you guys. So far, the rain's holding off. 4, 5, 6 coming up for the Drifters. Brady Culp, Ben Newton, and Ryan Jeffrey. Standing getting back to work, his second inning. Still working out the stretch. Big swing and a miss by Brady Culp to get things started. He falls behind 0-1. Lefties trying to improve to 2-5 on the young season. Drifters trying to improve to 6-1. Next pitch, the fastball taken on the outside corner. 0-2 the count. Good sign from Standen, able to work ahead. We've also seen a pretty good pace from both pitchers. So right now, the entire West Coast League, they are trying to somewhat live by some of the collegiate rules. So that ball's bounced back towards the middle. Choi is up with it, a few steps to his left. The throw is a little bit wide at first, but able to apply the tag is Ethan Young. Pretty good play, hopping off the bag to his left, able to secure the out.
Great adjustment by Ethan Young, and as we mentioned before the break just now, what a character he is for this team. His teammates love him, and he's certainly making an impact early on tonight.
Big, able to get the first out right there. That brings up Ben Newton as he digs into the left-handed batter's box. The first pitch is way inside. Backs Newton off the plate a couple steps. Just want to know the count. With no score and 1 out in the top of the second inning. Next pitch, the fastball. That one catches the knees on the outer half. 1-1 the count. So I was saying during the previous at-bat, Griff, the entire West Coast League is trying to, well, they are adopting some of the pace of play rules that the NCAA has. A really nasty breaking ball, low and in the dirt, but Newton swings through it. Kind of a half swing right there. So the pitchers are going by a 20-second action clock. So whether it's stepping off or attempting a pickoff or delivering the pitch to the plate, trying to go in 20 seconds. And Newton goes after a high fastball. He's down on strikes. Second strikeout of the game for Standen, 2 outs in the top of the second.
Next at bat, number 9, Ryan Jeffrey.
And in general, even before we saw some of the new rules with the pace of play in the NCAA, doing that for a few years, Major League Baseball starting it up just this season, we've seen a trend of pitchers starting to pick up the pace, already accelerating the game. And we've seen Standen and Holmes, they're both working pretty quick paces. So that first pitch fastball's at the knees for a called strike to Ryan Jeffrey, the left fielder. Jeffrey hitting .217 to start the season. A couple triples, 6 RBIs to his credit. Tied for the team lead in RBIs for Springfield. In the check swing, Ryan Jeffrey does go around. He's behind 0-2. Standen does look sharp so far. Had a long at bat to start the game to Cole Cowden, eventually losing him on an 8-pitch walk. But he's been good. There's another good fastball at the knees for a called strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Drew Standen, his fourth of the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. We're through 1.5. Port Angeles coming back up for their hacks in the bottom of the second inning.
At bat, your left fielder.
Welcome back
number
once
1,
again to Port Angeles, ladies and gentlemen. We're set for the bottom of the second inning. This inning is sponsored by Leeds Farm Supply. Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales is the Peninsula's premier family-owned farm supply and equipment dealership, where we service what we sell. Shop local, support local, shop Leeds Farm Supply. The first pitch to Camden Coaster. It's taken up high for ball 1. Coaster, Rose, and Alsep, the scheduled hitters. Coaster's able to work ahead to a 2-0 count. No score, bottom of the second inning. That pitch is popped up foul into the screen. That screen kind of hanging over home plate. It could definitely become a factor tonight, Griff, compared to other ballparks. Over the course of the season, there is work being done to replace the chain link fence with a full screen. That breaking ball is taken on the outside corner, 2-2 the count to Coaster. Bridger Holmes back out for his second inning of work. Another breaking ball. Boy, it's a good one tonight. On the inside corner for a called strike 3. Coaster goes down looking. There's one away.
At batting the DH, number 20.
Speaking of Bridger Holmes, Griff, it is an extremely small world. Last summer in Palm Springs, Bridger Holmes was actually in the league that I was working with, the Power Summer Collegiate League. Get a bunch of guys, anywhere from 1 to 200 players, as Barrett Rose takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-1 the count. And he was pitching in that league. And now here we are, the same ballpark.
It is a small world, as you mentioned, and his recruiting process was blocked by COVID. He was out for several years, and now it feels great for him to be out there again playing his A game, and he is a force for the Springfield Drifters squad.
I think that breaking ball is taken outside 2-1 to count. I think a whole lot of athletes and spectators and everyone else involved are thrilled to be back on the ball field. That certainly goes without saying, but it's worth saying it. Here's a 2-1. That fastball misses outside, 3-1 to count. Rose working a hitter's count. Up 3-1, 1 out, nobody on in the bottom of the second inning. Trying to get some offense going for the lefties. That breaking ball, 3-1 breaking ball, is taken on the outside corner for a strike. A lot of confidence in that breaking pitch, going with it on the 3-1 count. I mean, if you're Rose, you're largely looking dead red. Now he digs in the 3-2 count. Another breaking ball just outside. Rose took just an extra moment to make sure he got the call, and he'll take his base.
And great patience by Rose to lead off this inning with a man on. Could spark some momentum for the lefties against Holmes.
That'll bring up Owen Alsop. The manager for the lefties, Carlos Ramirez, gives out some signs. The first pitch is fouled back into the screen. 0-1 the count to Alsop. Pretty interesting story with the lefty manager, Carlos Ramirez. So he was not able to go on the first road trip, just the first 6 games with Port Angeles, because he was busy coaching in the Junior College World Series for Weatherford College out of Texas. As a runner goes in the pitch, the ball's off the end of the bat, picked up by the third baseman, Cownan. He fires across the diamond in time. Moving up to second on the play is Barrett Rose as he was running on the pitch. 2 outs. But anyway, back to old Carlos. Weatherford College made it all the way to the semifinal game, where they eventually lost a one-run game, 14-13, to Central Florida. And here he is, getting acquainted and getting settled back in his first season managing the Port Angeles Lefties. The first pitch is taken way inside to the 8th man, Trent Jackson. And an RBI opportunity for him, with Rose looming at second base. No score with 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. That ball's chopped high to the second baseman, Ben Newton. He'll flip over the first to retire the side. A little bit of a rally put up by the lefties, but they leave a man aboard. We're through 2 full at Civic Field, still no score. Well, we journey on, baseball fans, to the top of the 3rd inning. Still no score between the Drifters and the Lefties.
The first baseman,
Bottom of the order coming up for Springfield. Nate May, Garrett Vose, and Cooper Mullins, the scheduled hitters. Drew Standen will get back to work. He's cruised so far. He's faced the minimum. His first start and, of course, second overall pitching appearance of the season as his first pitch breaking ball misses outside. Getting back just a moment to Lefties manager Carlos Ramirez. So he's in the middle of his second stint with Weatherford College on their coaching staff. As that next pitch is swung on and missed by Garrett Vose. Spent a bit of time coaching catchers at Hawaii Pacific University. Played his college ball at Miami-Dade College and University of Miami. So that pitch is taken on the outside corner, 1-2 the count to Vose. And he did spend some time playing professionally with the Red Sox and the LA Angels going through their systems. A lot of baseball experience. I mean, over 20 years of coaching and even scouting in the Red Sox organization. I mean, this guy knows the game. He knows the game, and I can't wait to talk to him. I mean, he just got into town yesterday, and he's a terrific guy from everything I hear. Big, big heart.
He brings a lot of wisdom and experience, and ultimately in hopes to draw a lot of talent to this young squad.
Well, certainly. A lot of baseball experience, a lot of life experience, and everyone can find value in that. 3-2 the count to Vose. That pitch misses low, ends up losing him. Vose able to draw a walk to lead off the third. Second walk of the game issued by Standen. The other one coming to the leadoff man, Cownan, back in the first. Beg your pardon, ladies and gentlemen. That was Nate May drawing the walk. Garrett Vose will be digging into the box right now. The first pitch is taken outside for ball one. Vose and the ninth man Mullins on deck. The third baseman Owen Alster for the Lefties playing a couple steps in front of the bag, a few steps onto the grass. And showing bunt and pulling back is Vose. And it's a called strike. Can't quite tell if the home plate umpire called it on the pitch or if they called it on the square attempt. I thought Vose pulled the bat back, so maybe it was on the pitch. Well, now with the count 1-1, Alsip still playing a couple steps onto the grass. The lefties look to turn two. He shows bunt again. He bunts it towards the left side. Standen's up with it. Fires across the first. Good play for the first out. Up to second goes Nate May. Successful bunt attempt.
Now batting the DH, number 2.
Not something you see a whole lot in the big leagues anymore, or even a lot of the upper-level Division I programs. Playing small ball, just moving a runner up. We'll see if Springfield's able to take advantage of that. It brings up the ninth man, Cooper Mullins. May over at second base thanks to the successful sacrifice bunt from Vose. He's way late on the first pitch fastball, behind 0-1.
As you said, they're playing with small ball mentality right now, looking to manufacture runs with a runner on second with one out on a previous sac bunt, with Mullins up to hit next.
The outfield playing pretty straight up, not all that deep. Late once again on the fastball is Mullins. Jackson in right, Piper Sick in center, Cam Coaster in left. Coaster in left is playing the most shallow out of all three, as far as trying to throw a runner out at the plate is concerned. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Mullins. That pitch misses inside, 1-2. Cooper Mullins hitting .267 to start the young season. 1 double, 6 RBIs to his credit. Tied for the team lead in RBIs. Here's the 1-2. That's in the dirt. Good play by the catcher Adams.
Good play to potentially block a wild pitch, just to prevent the Drifters from advancing to third early in the inning.
Well, it's definitely helpful. Standing comes set, big leg kick, the 2-2 pitch, almost hard towards the hole. That's going to leak in the left field for a base hit. They're going to hold the runner at third. Nate May stopping right there. Ball's hit pretty hard, and Coaster's playing pretty shallow to begin with in left. first hit of the game for Springfield.
Now batting, number 8, Cole.
And it puts men on first and third with 1 out. So Stanton, he's going to have to work out of a bit of a jam. Trying to keep this ball game scoreless against the Drifters team that swept the Lefties to open the season. And they'll bring up the leadoff man, Cole Cownan. Was able to work an 8-pitch walk to get things started in the first inning. The Lefties will look to turn 2. Cownan shows bunt. He bunts it towards the right side of the infield. It's picked up by Stanton, flipped to the first baseman, Young. Bit of a safety squeeze. Once again, not something you see a whole lot of, and Nate May is able to cross the plate. Up to second goes Mullins on the sacrifice bunt. 2 sacrifice bunts in the top of the third inning.
Number 7.
I mean, there was no chance for Stanton to try and make a play on the runner at the plate.
No chance at all. And small ball, again, is proving to be a key factor early on in this ballgame.
I'll bring up Dawson Santana. He comes up empty on the first pitch fastball. So the Drifters able to strike first. They now lead 1-0 in the top of the third. They have a runner at second in Cooper Mullins. Drew Stanton trying to limit the damage at just 1. A good lead at second from Mullins. And that breaking ball is a little outside. That moves the count to 1-1. Stanton still working a pretty good pace. Comes out showing bunt and bunting it straight back into the fencing is Santana. Well, if you have the speed, you have the athleticism, and you have the technique, go for the bunts. So moves the count to a ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs with a runner on second for the Drifters. Stanton trying to work out of this jam. He's already allowed 1 run. Breaking ball, that's way outside 2-2. Stanton takes a couple extra deep breaths. He'll gather himself, get back onto the rubber, looking for his signs. He comes set. A little bit of an open stance for Santana in the right-handed batter's box. Whoa, that ball's fouled up and back into the screen, and Santana lost the bat. The on-deck man, Sam Lauderdale, jogs over to retrieve it and hand it to his teammate. Wood Bat League for the West Coast. And Santana's not going to get any extra pine tar. Something you often be used to seeing if you end up losing the bat on the swing. So we'll do it again. 2-2 the count, 2 outs. That ball's taken high. It's a breaking ball. It's off the glove of Adams. It kicks to his right. And Mullins able to advance to third on the passed ball. So a bit of a break right there for the Drifters. It's now 3-2. And now you have a man on third. So you got to be careful if you're Adams. Especially anything in the dirt. Not much room behind home plate. So that fastball is drilled in the left center field. Over his Piper's sake, that ball's going to drop to his left. A run's going to cross the plate. Digging in the second and sliding in there safely is Santana. The 2-out RBI double played in Cooper Mullins. It's now 2-0 Drifters.
Now batting, number 38.
It was inevitable. We knew Springfield would come out of the gate at some point. Starting slow, but bat's about to explode now. And Port Angeles is experiencing some deja vu right now, dating back to their opening series in a sweep on the road.
Once again, 2 outs and a man on second base. The first pitch of Sam Lauderdale's taken up high. No action in the lefty bullpen. Certainly Ramirez looking to get some innings out of his starter stand-in. Lauderdale struck out his first at bat. He checks the runner once. That fastball's on the inside corner, a ball and a strike. Stanton sailed through the first couple innings. Then the Drifters able to get men on first and third with 1 out. A little bit of small ball along the way, including a safety squeeze. And a big-time double just a moment ago from Santana, and they lead 2-0. That's a good fastball in the inner half, 1-2. Trying to send the lefties back into the dugout. See if they can get the bats moving. Standing comes set. Here's the 1-2. That breaking ball is in the dirt. Good play by Adams. Huge secondary lead from Dawson Santana that time. And a few extra deep counts in this third inning for Standen. Certainly having his pitch count driven up. Trying to work out of it, though. Checks the runner in extra time. That 2-2 pitch is swung through by Sam Lauderdale. He goes down swinging, and that finally retires the side. But not before the Drifters able to get a couple runs on the board. The big blow coming from the Dawson Santana RBI double. We'll go to the bottom of the third inning. The lefties trying to strike back. Well, here we are for the bottom of the third inning, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be 9-1-2 coming up for Port Angeles. Sam Adams, Jacob Pipersick, and B.Y. Choi. As the first pitch is taken outside for ball one. Lefties now trailing 2-0. Drifters able to push a couple runs across. Trying to answer back. So that's a breaking ball taken on the inside corner, a ball and a strike. Adams in the right-handed batter's box, drawing the start behind the plate. He's been busy. He had the pass ball this just an inning ago, but he's been a machine blocking pitches in the dirt. He's ahead in the count 2-1. That pitch, another breaking ball, taken a little bit outside. Pretty good pace and a lot of breaking balls from Bridger Holmes. That time he goes with a fastball, and it's outside. Perhaps a little bit of life for the lefties in the bottom of the third. Leadoff walk to the 9-man Sam Adams.
Now batting the center fielder, number
That brings up the top of the order.
Jacob
Pipersick will dig in for his second attempt. Struck out looking at his first at bat. Also curious to see how are the lefties able to adapt. As Pipersick shows bunt. He foul tips it into the glove of Nate May. Both corner infielders, Cole Cownan at third and Brady Culp at first, charging. Not a bad idea trying to manufacture a run. That pitch is way outside. Forces May to come popping out of his stance. The count moves to a ball and a strike. B.Y. Choi, Roberto Nunez, the next scheduled hitters. Another breaking ball, kind of a half swing, three-quarter swing, I should say, by Pipersick. He's behind 1-2. That's one of those swings where you don't see the breaking ball coming right away, then you kind of see it darting at the end, and you go, I don't have a chance on this pitch. Here's the 1-2. That breaking ball will go straight to the backstop. Good break for the lefties. Adams able to advance to second on the wild pitch. Not a whole lot Nate May could have done on that one. It's not one of those breaking balls that hit the dirt, but that was just so far outside, way over into the left-handed batter's box.
And so far, not an ideal start for Holmes either, as Port Angeles looks to tie the game here with a runner on second and a tying run at the plate.
Bridger Holmes comes set. That fastball is a little outside, 3-2. Nate May skipped the throw back to his battery mate Holmes. A good at bat from Pipersick, able to work the count back full after falling behind a ball and 2 strikes. A lot of room on the right side of the infield. The second baseman Ben Duden keeping the runner close. That ball's way outside. It goes straight to the backstop again. It kicks off the wood back there, and Sam Adams able to get to third. Second wild pitch of the inning for Bridger Holmes. After sailing along, making it look extremely easy the first 2 innings. Now he's walked 2 to start the frame, 2 wild pitches. The lefties are in business with men on first and third and nobody out.
What's going on with Holmes right now? He's in an unfamiliar position, as Port Angeles still has nobody out with a runner on first and third. For those of you just tuning in, we're in the bottom of the third. Port Angeles trailing 2-0, but looking to perhaps go in front now with runners in scoring position.
Oh, we have a meeting on the mound. All the Springfield infielders coming together, trying to calm down their starting pitcher.
One more time. B.Y.
Now they'll bring up B.Y. Choi. Really good opportunity for him. The home plate umpire takes a couple extra moments, get his mask back on, and Choi will dig in for his second at bat. Flied out softly to the center fielder his first time up. That ball's lined in the right field for a base hit. Going after the first pitch is Choi. Adams will cross the plate. Going to third as Pipersick as the throw comes into second base. RBI single B.Y. Choi. And for the first time tonight, that brings this opening night crowd to its feet.
Now batting the second
That cuts it to a 2-1 ball game. Still an opportunity for the lefties to rally. This is coming from a guy, B.Y. Choi, came off an excellent season. I mean, all sorts of excellent power numbers, big time for New Mexico Military Institute. As Roberto Nunez swings and misses at a first pitch curveball. It was only 2 for his first 20 coming into play tonight. Hopefully, a bat like that can really get him going. That pitch, and yes, he did go around on another breaking ball, did Nunez. So an RBI single a moment ago by B.Y. Choi. Lefty's able to cash in on the back-to-back walks to start this third inning and the 2 wild pitches. The Drifters will play to turn 2. Second baseman Newton. So runner on first starts and stops, and that breaking ball's outside. If you're Nunez, you got to find a way to put something in play, especially something on the ground. Looks like a ground ball to the middle infielder. They'll concede a run to try and turn the double play. He comes up empty on a fastball. Really good fastball that time from Holmes.
Next at bat, number 32, Ethan Young.
So now they'll come down to Ethan Young. Still 1 out, still a good opportunity for Port Angeles to try and at least tie this ball game up. Young bounced out to the second baseman Ben Newton, his only at bat. He takes a first pitch fastball outside. Holmes checks the runner at first just once. That pitch is way outside. Look, they might have overthrown that in a moment. Kind of tries to shake out his throwing hand right before he gets the ball back. So Young able to work ahead 2-0. He comes up way out in front on a breaking ball. That's one of those swings where you're looking fastball. You're selling out for a fastball. And you get the bender, it starts in the zone, and then you miss it by about a foot. Still a good hitter's count, 2-1 for Young. Drifters try and turn 2. Another breaking ball, swung on and missed, 2-2 the count.
Holmes is now feeling it. He's picking up some heat. as he looks to escape this jam, still leading 2-1 with 1 out and a 2-2 count.
Young was hitting 250 to start the season as he swings and misses at a breaking ball. Back-to-back strikeouts for Bridger Holmes with men on first and third, nobody out just a moment ago.
Now batting the left fielder,
And now it's left to Camden Coaster with 2 outs. Looking to pick up his teammates and get a base hit to try and tie this game up. Short lead at first from Choi. He's a good athlete over there. And the first pitch is fouled into the screen. Coaster struck out looking his only at bat in the second. One of 4 strikeouts in the early going for Bridger. Steady diet of breaking balls. That ball's high bouncer back towards the middle. It's flagged down by the second baseman Newton, and it'll tag the second base bag to retire the side. The lefty's able to get on the board thanks to the RBI single from B.Y. Choi. Bridger Holmes able to pick up a couple strikeouts and retire Cam Coaster to end the inning. Still 2-1 Springfield Drifters. We go to the 4th.
Welcome back to Port Angeles, folks, here at Civic Field. The lefties trailing 2-1, cutting the lead in half in the bottom of the third inning. To the top of the 4th we go. Standing still on the mound for the lefties.
first baseman, number 30, Brady Culp.
First baseman Brady Culp will lead it off on top of the 4th inning. Culp waits. Here's the first pitch. That is inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count.
Griff, we were able to see the lefties pick up a little bit of momentum, plating that first run. Now let's see if the Drifters are able to capture some of the momentum back, especially escaping the jam.
One and one the count on Culp now as he takes a called strike. Culp awaits, stand and delivers. That's a swing and a miss for strike 2.
I'm also very curious to see how is Standen able to come back out on the mound, especially an inning ago, getting hit around just a little bit, allowing the 2 runs, and seeing Bridger Holmes able to work out of a first and third no-out situation.
Meanwhile, a called strike 3 on the outside corner goes in favor of the lefties. May have been a controversial call, but there's 1 out in the top of the 4th. Again, still 2-1. Up to bat now is Ben Newton from Fresno State, looking to tag on another run perhaps to Drifters' lead in the top of the 4th inning.
That's also a really good sign from Drew Standen, able to come back, get that first punch out.
Meanwhile, a wild pitch in the dirt and behind the fence. 1-0 the count as Newton stays ahead early.
Already the 6th strikeout of the game with 1 out in the 4th inning for Standen. Hopefully we can see some of that sharp stuff we saw the first 2 innings as opposed to that previous third.
Another foul tip, as this time the count is now 1-1. on Newton. Still one out in the inning, no runners on base for the Drifters. Newton waits, that ball's in the dirt again for ball 2. 2-1 the count on Newton.
Not quite sure if that was a breaking ball or a changeup. A lot of times we've seen Stan in this breaking ball kind of sweeping across the plate. That one kind of just fell off the table.
A swing and a miss from Newton, 2-2 the count now.
This could be a good situation to try and go back to that breaking ball looking pitch. Especially with 2 strikes, you're more likely to get a chase on that since you already have to protect with a 2-strike count.
Here comes Stanton's next pitch. That is inside for a called strike 3. Out number 2. Newton can't believe it. But still nobody on base for the Drifters with 2 out. Still 2-1 Springfield.
And yes, that's absolutely a borderline pitch. Could have gone either way, but when you're around the plate like Stanton's been this inning and just about the entire game, you're much more likely to get that call. And especially if you're the catcher, you set up a little bit inside, your pitcher hits your spot, bring it back, much more likely to get it.
Ryan Jeffrey up to bat next, shows bunt, and that goes foul. 0-1 the count.
Well, we've already talked a few times about seeing some things we're not used to seeing. A 2 outs and attempting to bunt for a hit. It's really not something you see a whole lot. But then again, we've seen a sacrifice bunt just an inning ago, a safety squeeze. And we're seeing a lot of it.
In a league in favor of the universal DH and power and hitting home runs, it's rare to see that in modern baseball. You're absolutely right.
That's one reason, though, there's a lot to love about college baseball. Still very old school in a lot more ways.
Jeffrey hangs in there and takes a called strike. 0-2 the count now. No runners on. 0-2, 2 out.
Boy, and how big would this be if Stan is able to strike out the side and record a shutdown inning for his lefties?
And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Inning over. As the score remains 2-1 in favor of the Drifters. To the bottom of the 4th we go. We'll be back right after this. Go now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming back just a few moments earlier than we normally would. We get set for the bottom of the 4th inning for the Lefties in a 2-1 ball game in favor of the Drifters. But we're in a very unique location. A lot of history and a lot of beauty around the Port Angeles area. So we want to just, at least once a game, just talk a little bit about that. So this area is especially known for Olympic National Park, as Barrett Rose will dig into the box. So back in 1897, President Grover Cleveland was able to establish this area as a national monument, as the first pitch is taken in there for a strike. In 1909, Teddy Roosevelt was able to establish Mount Olympus National Monument. Then, as that next pitch is taken outside, FDR paid one more visit in 1937 as far as American presence is concerned. 1 year later, he signed the paperwork to officially designate Olympic National Park.
Thanks for that, Evan. Meanwhile, Barrett Rose up to bat, number 6 in the lineup for the Lefties tonight. Again, 2-1, still the score. Drifters in front. 2-1 the count on Rose. Looking to break through here for the lefties in the bottom of the fourth. Rose awaits the pitch from Holmes. That's just outside for ball 3. 3-1 the count.
You know, Griff, a couple weeks ago on one of our off days, I attempted to go visit Olympic National Park, and I did not quite understand that the area I was trying to enter was closed.
Meanwhile, that ball is grounded up the middle and not able to be fielded correctly. Nunez can't hold it. And the lefties have a runner at first with nobody out.
Number 39.
And that's a tough play. It's going to go down as a base hit. Would have been a really tough play for the second baseman Ben Noonan to try and throw Rose out at first. Especially on the ball, your momentum's taking you all the way to left field. But anyway, there was a fire about a little over a month ago up at Hurricane Ridge, the entrance area for Olympic National Park.
Oh, and also up to bat now for the lefties. Fun fact, B.Y. Choi's old teammate, as Owen Alsop he recently transferred to West Texas A&M University, where he will be taking bats next spring.
Absolutely. You definitely have to get along in order to continue being teammates with somebody into the summer league.
Meanwhile, this next pitch by Holmes is wild, way past the dirt near the fence. As Rose advances to second, still nobody out. 1-1 the count on Owen Alsop.
Already the third wild pitch, and third wild pitch we saw from Holmes in just the past inning plus. All of them coming on the breaking ball. We've seen a lot of really good breaking balls from him, but we're seeing on a few of these off-speed pitches to right-handed batters, kind of overthrowing it, maybe overextending just a little bit, and he's missing in the same spot.
Alsop fouls it back. Count 1-2. Alsop behind with a runner on second. That's Rose. Runner in scoring position. Tying run on second. Alsop waits. Here's the pitch. He swings and chases that one low and outside for out number 1.
And that was just a really good fastball from Bridger that time. He has Alsop just go breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball. And you get him feeling and thinking slow and come back with one of his hardest fastballs of the day, and just not a whole lot Alsop can do with that. And a well-located one, too.
Not much he can do. Meanwhile, Trent Jackson up to bat now for the lefties with a runner in scoring position, looking to tie this game for the lefties in the bottom of the fourth. First pitch outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Here comes Holmes' next pitch. That's outside as well. 2-0 the count.
Something right there to keep an eye on if you're a lefties hitter. It's one of those things where you hope a coach is able to pick it up, but a couple breaking balls we saw. Bridge Holmes is starting to drop his arm slot just a little bit. It can happen at times when fatigue becomes a problem.
Jackson chases that changeup as the count now is 2-1.
But if you start to tip your pitches, if your delivery or your arm slot looks different from one pitch to the other, major advantage for a hitter.
2-2 the count now as Jackson fouls it back into the fence. Still a 2-1 ball game. The lefty is looking to get back to business here. Holmes waits. Here's the next pitch. That is low and outside for ball 3. A full count on Trent Jackson with 1 out in the bottom of the fourth.
That was a better breaking ball that time from Bridger, though. His catcher, Nate May, did give him that bit of a congratulatory sign to him, hey, let's maybe throw that again.
This next pitch is fouled off again. That one low as Jackson chased it in the dirt to barely stay alive in this at-bat. Still a full count.
And if you're Port Angeles, you absolutely need to manufacture a run in this situation. An inning ago, you have first and third with nobody out. Even after playing a run, not able to play the second one. You got a man on second with nobody out, now 1 out. Need to cash in.
That ball is swung on and missed. The ball gets past the catcher, so Jackson will advance to first safely on a strikeout. Runners on first and third with only 1 out for the lefties. A very fortunate sequence, to put it mildly, for the lefties just now.
Number 34, Samuel
Well, that's absolutely right. It's a major break for Port Angeles. It was a nasty-looking breaking ball from Bridger. I mean, it has to go down as a wild pitch. Sometimes you just get some really nasty stuff, and at times you're going to see wild pitches like that.
Like you said, Port Angeles has to execute in this inning. It's a golden opportunity for them to bring some relevance back into this game. Still only 1 out. As Sam Adams takes a first pitch inside for a called strike. 0-1 the count on Sam Adams. Runners on first and third, 1 out.
Also, Griff, 4th wild pitch in an inning and a third from Bridger.
That pitch is outside, but called another strike as Sam Adams quickly falls behind 0-2. And you're right, that's the 4th wild pitch we've seen early at this point in the game. That's rare. You don't see that every day. Adams waits and swings and misses for a quick strikeout. Just in a blink of an eye, Adams came up to the plate and is already out. Some heat just now from Holmes.
Yeah, that's put it pretty well right there, Griff. I mean, and a lot of confidence from Bridger Holmes. Putting men on first and third once again, coming back with some really good fastballs. And even after the wild pitch, going back to that curveball to get the punch out.
Ball is called for a strike on the outside corner as Jacob Pipersick, the leadoff man, up to bat with 2 outs, a runner on first and third. That ball, that's a nasty pitch inside for a called strike 2. Quickly 0-2 with 2 outs now.
Especially when you're standing close to the plate like Pipersick is. Looks like he's going to get a little closer to the home plate. You get that breaking ball that just loops in there, that's a tough pitch to handle.
0-2 the count now as Pipersick pops it up. To Ben Newton, who makes the 3rd out of the 4th inning. We'll come back to the top of the 5th inning right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Civic Field in downtown Port Angeles, folks, on opening night here. A 2-1 ball game as Port Angeles failed to convert with a golden chance to tie the game or perhaps take the lead. Now we go to the top of the 5th inning. As the Drifters are up to bat once again, this time Nate May leads them off as he takes a called strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Meanwhile, it is noteworthy that the Lefties have action in their bullpen at the moment.
I guess just in case for Standen.
As May grounds that one to B.Y. Choi, who flips it to Ethan Young for the first out of the inning. A quick opening out. And that's got to feel good for Drew Standen after a rough early outing to get a quick out midway through the game.
Well, that ground was hit about as weakly as you could possibly ask for. That's one of those right off the end of the bat. It wouldn't surprise me frankly, if May ended up breaking his bat right there. And gotta feel good if you're standing. He's been sharp.
Meanwhile, Garrett Vose up to bat now, chases that one inside. 0-1 the count now with one out.
I know we've talked a lot about Bridger Holmes' steady diet of curveballs. That was a nasty one right there from Standen.
Back-to-back swings and misses as Vose quickly falls behind 0-2.
So let's see. Curveball, got him way off balance and out in front. Fastball, he swung when the ball was already in the glove of Adams. That was a good fastball right there, but just didn't get the call.
A good take from Vose, showing great patience as he takes the ball just a little high for ball one. 1-2 now the count with one out. Stenden deals. That pitch is low in the dirt for ball two. 2-2 the count now.
It's a good idea trying to go back to that curveball, but one of the less competitive pitches we've seen from Standen throughout his night. You just got to start that a little bit higher, keep in the strikes a bit longer, then you're more likely to get the chase.
That ball is just outside. Called for the third consecutive ball to make it a full count now.
Yeah, that was close.
Just
a little bit outside, yeah.
Just a little outside as Vose has climbed back into this lead here. As he swings and misses now for the second out of the inning. Standen wheeling and dealing now. 2 outs. Still 2-1 Drifters if you're just now tuning in with us on the top of the fifth with 2 outs.
Now batting number 2.
Also the 8th strikeout of the ball game for Drew Standen. I mean, he's just been outside of that third inning where he got knocked around just a little bit, victim of a little bit of small ball. Boy, his stuff's been really good. And a really good challenge fastball, especially to the 8-hole hitter. Yeah, that's a good fastball right there. Another late swing we just saw from Cooper Mullins.
Designated hitter chasing early. 0-1 quickly. 0-1 quickly at the count with 2 outs. Standen throws another one. That's low outside in the dirt for ball one.
I love this tempo right now. He's got to be gaining confidence, especially dealing with the bottom of the order. Just keep it going. With that fastball, work ahead, keep throwing until they show they can catch up.
Here comes Standen's next pitch. That's just out of the reach for Mullins again as he falls behind 1-2. With 2 outs.
And again, I go back to another fastball. You already got 2 swing throughs this at bat. Go with another.
You seem to be onto something as Standen just does just that, throwing a fastball with some heat to end the inning. To the bottom of the 5th inning we go. Port Angeles looking to make some damage.
Shortstop, number 16.
Good evening, folks. Welcome back to Port Angeles as we enter the bottom of the 5th inning. It's what's been a fairly entertaining and very quick ball game up to this point. If you're just now tuning in with us, it's 2-1 Drifters in the bottom of the 5th inning. That ball is outside. 1-0 the count. Now, as the lefties are up to bat with B.Y. Choi, the shortstop, up to bat. Awaits Holmes' next pitch that catches the inside corner for strike number 1.
This will be an interesting at bat to get things started in the 5th. Choi made a week out his first time up, then big-time single back in the third to get the Lefties' only run on the board. Curious to see how Holmes is going to attack him.
Choi now ahead, 2-1 on the count. Takes another ball low, a great take from Choi to go ahead 3-1.
And now you're in charge of your BY Choi. You got to be looking dead red, one spot and one pitch.
Lines that one to the second baseman, who throws to Garrett Vose for the first out of the bottom of the fifth. Fielded by Sam Lauderdale, excuse me.
The second baseman, number 21.
Now up to bat for the Lefties is Roberto Nunez. Looking to perhaps provide some sort of spark here midway through the game. Takes a ball outside from Holmes, go up 1-0.
That was a bit of a break right there for Holmes on the mound. Not the best 3-1 swing right there from Choi.
As he lines one up the middle for a base hit. Nunez right off the bat advances to first on a single, and the Lefties are in business again.
Oh, I heard a fan just out the window go, that was a good hit. Well, it sure was a good hit. Really, really nice piece of hitting. We've only really seen 3 balls squared up in this game. That's one of those times from Roberto Nunez, able to really get behind the baseball. Talk about really squaring it up. That was an absolute bullet we saw go back through the middle.
Ethan Young up to bat now, but grounds into a double play on one pitch, 2 outs. That brings us to the end of the 5th inning. A very interesting one, to say the least, but it ends rather quickly for the Lefties, failing to convert any kind of damage as they still trail 2-1 as we enter the top of the 6th now. Good evening, folks. Welcome back to Port Angeles as we begin the top of the 6th inning. We have a pitching change for the Lefties, that being C.J. Lewis coming in, who's off to a bit of a turbulent start this year. As we will share with you, in his recent series against Bend, appearing in 2 of their games, losing 17-5 in one of them, recording an ERA of 12.0. Not an ideal start, to say the least.
Oh, look, I'll say this: sometimes that ERA stat can be a little inflated, not a perfect representation. We've only had 3 outings. I mean, 2 of his outings, one of them against Ben, the other one against the Drifters this past week, was really good.
And quickly falls behind in the count 2-0 as the Drifters are at the top of their lineup as Cole Cannon makes another appearance as he takes the third pitch for a called strike. 2-1 the count now. Still nobody out.
I absolutely love CJ. Such a great personality. Really, really funny guy. He's got something funny to say about everything no matter what.
He is loved by all his teammates. He certainly is a character and brings some great light and energy to that team. Let's see if he can get out of this minor jam he's found himself in. Dug himself a little hole, falling behind in a 3-1 count now as he deals a low strike in the inside corner to climb back to a full count now on Cole Cownan.
Good life on his fastball, too. Looks to be some kind of two-seam variety. I'd like to see him go with another one.
That ball's fouled back by Cownan, still full count.
Well, he did go back to the fastball. He got a pretty late swing, just fouled it back into the screen. I'd still like to see him go with another fastball, especially with such a late swing off the handle of Cownan.
Comes Lewis's next pitch. That is up near the head area of Cownan, way outside for ball 4. As the leadoff man is on for the Drifters in the top of the 6th.
And that's a shame that CJ ended up losing him right there. Hopefully he's able to find his command, work some good pitches to Santana, and maybe even roll a double play ball.
Dawson Santana making another appearance, second in the order. Up to bat now with Cownan at first. Here comes Lewis's pitch. That is the same zone, same location as the previous pitch, up near the head area this time of Santana, a little outside.
Well, of course it's not intentional. We saw, as you just said, Griff back-to-back pitches, missing on that arm side, up and in. That's just one of those timing situations on his leg kick.
Another pitch way inside. 2-0 the count quickly on Santana, who happens to be an incoming freshman at Oregon State University, a very prestigious baseball school. Meanwhile, we have a mound visit with C.J. Lewis as he's gotten off to another rocky start in this inning, to say the least.
Yeah, this is a good visit right here. Good chance from the bench. Some of the Lefties coaching staff able to find something as delivery. A good chance just to try and calm him down, get him thinking about something different for just a moment. Speaking of Oregon State with Dawson Santana, you got a Drifters team who only their second year of existence in the West Coast League, last year being their inaugural season. They went 17-37. Off to a good start, 5-1, as we mentioned earlier.
Lewis with a pickoff attempt at first that's unsuccessful. Lewis just trying to regain his composure after a turbulent beginning to the top of the 6th inning. Lewis deals inside for a strike 1.
But anyway, you have a Drifters team who's been able to take advantage of their proximity. We're just next to the University of Oregon campus. Of course, the Pac-12 team. I mean, that's got to feel pretty good for second-year head coach Tommy Richards for the Drifters.
And for a team only in its second year of existence, looking to make a huge impact on the West Coast League after a 17-37 finish, as you mentioned, in its inaugural season, off to a fantastic start this year. Something special is on the way for this Drifters squad. Meanwhile, the count is now 3-1. Lewis still trying to find some momentum here in the top of the 6th with still nobody out, as Santana awaits, and that ball is high inside again. A common pitch Lewis has thrown this inning. Seems unable to really hit his stride.
And something like that, when you're missing consistently in the same spot, it drives any pitcher crazy. Obviously, no pitcher is trying to just throw balls, but it comes down to a mechanical thing, something in his delivery that you need to just rein back in. And it happens to every pitcher, even the Cy Young winners once in a while or the All-Americans.
Meanwhile, that ball is lined to the second baseman, who flips to second and first for a double play.
Wow, that was a big-time double play ball. Close play at first and a really good job by Roberto Nunez to get that started. The ball was spinning all sorts of ways as it trickled out to him on a couple hops. And really athletic, smooth job by the shortstop Choi, able to gather that throw in and get it over the first base.
And a huge break for C.J. Lewis, too, as we've talked about him all inning, struggling to find his groove here. Catches a friendly break there as his first pitch is high inside for ball one on Brady Culp.
And look, just a moment ago, a lefty's faithful might say, oh, back-to-back walks to start the inning, you're in a little bit of trouble. Now a great chance to get out of this, allowing nothing.
2-0 the count now as another pitch is thrown way outside. Lewis trying to escape this wild inning with no runs. I consider that a win for Lewis as we await his third pitch of this at-bat. That's inside for strike three. 2-1 the count now. 2 outs. 2-1 Drifters.
You got to be careful right here if you're Lewis. You have a couple bases open. You have the cleanup man up. I don't want to let this guy beat me if I can avoid it.
C.J. Lewis throws his second consecutive strike inside. Count now 2-2 with 2 outs. And the top of the sixth.
Now, if he's able to locate it, I would go right back to that kind of up and in strike, pitcher's pitch.
Another ball thrown inside by Lewis. Now with a full count with 2 outs. And still no, with a runner on third, looking to add to the Drifters' lead. 2 outs. Here's the pitch. That ball is inside for another walk, as Springfield is back in business once again with runners on first and third with 2 outs in the 6th inning.
Yeah, it's a bit of an ugly line at the moment. Recording 2 outs, but 3 walks in the inning. But look, if you're CJ, you can still get out of this not allowing anything. It's not the end of the world that you lose Culp right there, especially with you still have a base open. You have Newton coming up, who struck out twice already.
That ball is popped up near the left foul line. Lefties looking to chase and are unable to get there. 0-1 the count now.
And not a whole lot of room down the left field line. And that's one of those kind of triangle situations. You have the left fielder Coaster, the shortstop Choi, and the third baseman Owen Alsop all going after it. Also pretty good first pitch fastball from Lewis. Wonder if seeing a left-handed batter can actually help him a little bit with his location.
Here comes Lewis's next pitch. A runner goes, and that ball is lined up the middle. A run will score. Meanwhile, that ball thrown to third is not fielded cleanly, and the lead is now 3-1 Drifters with runners on second and third, with Ryan Jeffrey coming up to bat next. Drifters looking to, dare we say, put this game away at this point in the game?
Well, the game's far from over, of course, but being able to put up an insurance run, that's always going to be important. I thought just for a moment with Culp running on the pitch at first base and Choi going to second to cover, I thought just for a moment he'd be able to haul in that line drive, but just hit too high for him to make any attempt.
Lewis's next pitch is down and low inside. 1-0 the count now.
And this has been part of some of the difficult spots in games for the lefties in their first week of play. Giving it over to the bullpen and trying to just keep it where it is. It's been hit and miss at times.
Meanwhile, Jeffrey chases a ball down in low just below the strike zone, making the count now 1-1. Still 2 runners in scoring position for the Drifters as Jeffrey looks to cause more damage. Awaits Lewis's next pitch. That is low and outside, just missing the strike zone. 2-1 the count.
Yeah, that's close. We saw a couple times, especially towards the end of Drew Stanton's outing, getting some of those borderline pitches because of how much he was around the plate. But if you're not commanding your pitches well, you're not likely to get those borderline calls.
Jeffrey chases another one down and out to make the count now 2-2. The lefties were in this situation earlier this inning, but failed to convert the final out as the Drifters just added to their lead. Can the Drifters repeat their previous success? We're about to find out. Lewis waits, now delivers. A pitch is fouled back into the net. Still 2-2.
Also, speaking of Drew Standen, his line's complete for the day. 5 innings, just the 2 earned runs allowed coming back in the third. 9 strikeouts, along with the 3 walks, and only 2 hits allowed.
A phenomenal outing.
Impressive.
A phenomenal outing by Standen. It's unfortunately overshadowed by the early deficit. Meanwhile, Lewis gets his first strikeout of the inning to limit the damage. 3-1 Drifters, leaving 2 runners in scoring position as we enter the bottom of the 6th inning. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Port Angeles, folks. We have a pitching change for the Drifters as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's Zach Edigar, a local boy from just outside of Port Angeles, making his season debut. That
Whoa,
ball
look
is
out. Hey now.
Swung on and that bat just left his hand. Oh my goodness, that bat was headed for the seats as the count is 0-1.
Well, I can guarantee you this. That baseball bat, let's see. Wonder what the StatCast would pick up on that one. So it hit the screen just next to the Drifters' dugout, and the baseball was missed. So let's see. We saw that happen to a Drifters player earlier, where he just lost his bat on the swing. He did not get pine tar. This time, Cam went back to get some extra pine tar. With a wood bat, that's what you got to do when you let the bat slip out of your hands.
0-1 the count now on Coaster as he fouls that one back. Quickly 0-2 now after a bizarre start to this at bat.
And you know, Griff, we saw last inning, lefties going to their bullpen for the first time. The Drifters able to cash in.
That ball's fouled back again.
Wow, look at that grab.
How about a snag like that from Barrett Rose on deck?
Yeah, we've seen a couple really nice double play balls, and boy, that was real athletic over there. With the left hand reaching back across his body, quick reaction. That's a web gem, especially with the way that the chain link fence is. You get some of the poles sticking up. That ball can really ricochet off of that.
Rose displaying pure athleticism as the count's now 1-2. And another wild pitch goes in the back of the fence. 2-2 the count now on Cam Coaster.
Oh, Griff, you really can get a little bit of everything on a given night. You never know what you're going to get. So this at bat, you get you end up losing the bat on the swing, a great play by the on-deck batter, and then a curveball to the screen.
That pitch drops in for a strike, a called strike, as Edgar strikes out the first man of the inning. Coaster goes down. Barrett Rose up next.
The DH, number 20, Barrett.
And that was a good curveball right there. It's already it's a difficult matchup, righty on righty. You have a guy in Zach Edgar who he kind of drops down just a little bit lower arm slot than 3/4, but not quite submarining by any means. So it's almost like when he's throwing a curveball, it's kind of starting behind the batter.
Rose swings at the first pitch and knocks it into right field for a base hit. One pitch swinging, and Rose is already on with one out. A pretty good start to the inning, at least for Rose's at bat. We've noticed a little trend tonight. The lefties unable to execute and capitalize with runners on base. In the bottom of the sixth inning, this could be a pivotal turning point in the game.
Yeah. Other than B.Y. Choi's single back in the third, it has been a struggle for lefties hitters with men on base. They have had their chances. Some of those issues, too, during the road trip. It's all about the timely hits.
That ball is fouled back to make the count 0-1. Owen Alsop up to bat. We mentioned earlier, Alsop just transferred to West Texas A&M University. Prior to that, he played 2 seasons at the New Mexico Military Institute. Now enjoying some star time in the lineup with the Port Angeles Lefties. Let's see what he's got in store for his current at-bat, trailing 0-1, as Edgar attempts to pick off the runner at first, unsuccessful. Alsop getting ready. Edgar deals. Alsop grounds that to the second baseman, who throws to first for the out, as Brady Culp had to lean and stretch for that one, but the inning is over. Score remains 3-1, and once again the lefties are unable to capitalize as we enter the 7th inning now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've entered the late stages.
Number 12, Nate May.
Top of the 7th inning, leading the 7, 8, 9 hitters, Nate May, Garrett Vose, and Cooper Mullins for the Drifters. They lead 3-1. C.J. Lewis's first pitch is taken outside. Lewis back out for his second inning of work, coming on in relief for Drew Standen, who had the first 5 innings. Lewis ended up walking 3 batters and allowing a run back in the 6th. He's able to work the count even, a ball and a strike. Nate May walked and scored in that 2-run 3rd inning for Springfield, bounced out to shortstop in the 5th. That ball's chopped right by home plate to the left side, and it'll roll foul. Lewis able to work ahead 1-2. C.J. Lewis, he's seen a good amount of the country in just the past few years. Pitched the 2021 season at Parkland College, 2022 at Toledo in Ohio, and right now he's pitching for Jackson State University, the Tigers in Mississippi. Here he is in Port Angeles. He gets a big-time strikeout right there. Good fastball on the outer half. And a really good sign from CJ, especially some of the command issues last inning, able to get the first punch out in the 7th.
Now batting number 6.
Lewis cannot have asked for a better start after what we've said several times, a pretty rough inning for Lewis, but now seeming to stand his ground and make his presence felt as he looks to convert more outs this
Showing
inning.
bunt and taking just a little bit low is Garrett Vose. We saw him with a sacrifice bunt in the 3rd inning. And he also struck out in the 5th. That draws in the 3rd baseman, Alsop. That's on the outside corner, 1-1. That is finishing it up with CJ. Now here he is in Port Angeles, Washington. Really seen a lot of the country. The high bouncer to the second baseman, Nunez. Underhand flip over the first baseman, Young, in time for the 2nd out. Boy, really good start in the 7th inning for CJ. 2 up, 2 down.
Ideal, to put it mildly. There's no other way to say it. Lewis looking for a 1-2-3 inning. And some reassurance for this Lefties team as we enter the final third of the game, the final stretch.
That brings up Cooper Mullins, comes up late on the fastball. Singleton scored in the 3rd and struck out in the 5th. Saw a steady diet of fastballs issued to him in the 5th inning from Standen. He came up late on all of them. That one's low, a ball and a strike. 3-1 Springfield over Port Angeles. 2 outs, nobody on base in the top of the 7th. The home opener for the Port Angeles Lefties. It's been a good one. That's way outside, 2-1. Really good defense. We've seen our share of double plays. Really good starting efforts from both Bridger Holmes and Drew Standen. That one's a little outside. Close pitch, but it's a 3-1 count. Lewis comes set, working out the stretch. That one's lying right back up the middle for a base hit. A screamer past the glove of Lewis. So a 2-out base runner for Springfield. See if they can try and do a little bit of damage. Pick up another insurance run in the 7th.
Lewis looking to escape another jam again.
That brings up Cole Cowden. He's walked twice today. Also pulled off a safety squeeze back in the 3rd. Oh, a close play over at first on a pickoff attempt. Drawing some ire from some of the fans, thinking they got the out call. Or thinking they should have had the out call. Now Lewis comes set. A short leg kick, showing bunt is counted. And a snap throw back to first. Safe is the call at first base.
I don't know about that call. It looked like he may have nearly beaten the tag. I'm not so sure from our
I'm pretty
angle.
confident that Mullins got his hand back in there, but it got him leaning just a little bit. Really good idea from Adams behind the plate. Some of the fans, though, might agree with you a little more, Griff. Another throw over. So there's no limit on throw-over attempts in a row or in a given at-bat in the West Coast League. That fastball's taken a little high. Count moves to 2-0. All of a sudden, the pace slowed down ever so slightly with all the action at first base. Still 2 outs, a man on first, and a 2-0 count in the top of the 7th. That's way upstairs, 3-0.
Lewis finding himself in a hole once again, just looking to escape the inning and having trouble doing so. Keeping himself falling into this hole he's digging.
Here's the 3-0 pitch from Lewis. That's right down to shoot, 3-1 the count. We'd also like to give a shout out to James from Bremerton. Thanks very much for tuning in, James. Very much appreciated, as well as everybody else who's tuning into our broadcast. Here's a 3-1. That one's popped up to the right side. Over is Nunez. He makes the call, and he puts it away. Good inning from C.J. Lewis and the Lefties. Able to retire the side in the top of the 7th inning. Now we go to the bottom half. See if the Lefties can cut into that 3-1 deficit when we return. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're set for the bottom of the 7th inning. 8-9-1 coming up for the Lefties as they trail 3-1. Trent Jackson, Sam Adams, Jacob Piper-Sig, the scheduled hitters. That ball's popped up. Short center field. Nunez second base. It's the center fielder Sam Lauderdale. Comes running in and makes the catch. Ben Noonan and Dawson Santana were also giving chase.
Port Angeles looking to start on an aggressive tone. Looking to get back into this game later into the night.
Yeah, they're down to just 8 outs in a ball game that's truly flown by. First pitch was exactly 6:35, or only at 8:21 Pacific time, of course. The curveball's taken on the outside corner by the catcher Adams. Yeah, 1 out, bottom of the 7th inning. Game's far from 2 hours old. We have flown by. That one's a little inside, 1-1. Zach Edgar back out for his second inning of work. They're coming on in relief for Bridger Holmes, who had the first 5. A swing and a miss, 1-2 the count. And look, a really good starting effort from both Holmes and Drew Standen. Some really good defense. And here we stand at a 3-1 game.
Meanwhile, 2 quick outs for Port Angeles as this game just continues to speed up. It's quite unprecedented. We haven't really witnessed this in past years. The game of baseball is continuing to change at a really a higher speed than ever before. It's fascinating to watch the impact of the time limit between innings.
We do have a pinch hitter coming up, hitting in the leadoff spot for Jacob Piper-Sig. It'll be Jacob Billings. Trying to get a little bit of offense going. 2 outs, nobody on base in the bottom of the 7th inning. Play umpire taking just an extra moment to make sure he has the substitution on his end. But Griff, I doubt we're seeing any kind of record that's going to be broken tonight as far as how quick a game is going to go in the West Coast League, but we have flown by. We really have sailed along.
Game is still under 2 hours.
As Billings out of Chaffee College will dig in. 2 for 11 in the early going. He does have a double to his credit and an RBI. He works the count even the ball and the strike. Most likely he'll stay in the game to play center field in Piper Six's stead. That 1-1 pitch. Oh my goodness. Another bat just launched. Well, okay, here's what happened to Jacob Billings' bat. He tossed it up to the left side as he is a right-handed hitter, and it's just sitting up there on the netting that's kind of going up from the chain link fence. We're going to need some, let's put it this way. Most likely tomorrow, we're going to need some blue-collar gentlemen with a good amount of equipment to get that bat down. Some kind of ladder. I wouldn't exactly. I'm a hard worker, Griff. I describe myself more as a no-collar guy than a blue-collar guy, if that makes any sense. But I'm also a little scared of heights, so I'm not the guy to go climbing up there. I can do a lot of things. Heights, though, that's not my thing.
It's rare to see such an occurrence in a regular game, but to see it twice in the same night is something else.
I mean, I know it's raining. It's been on and off rain. It hasn't rained all that hard, though. I played my share of games in the rain. You got to get your pine tar up. And, you know, it was a long bus ride home last night. The guys have been sharp. If the ugly part's going to be launching the bat, as Jacob Billings comes up empty on that breaking ball. 1, 2, 3, go the lefties in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Jacob Billings' bat, that's going to be up there for the rest of the game. May that piece of wood live on for a long time at Civic Field. To the top of the 8th we go. 3-1 Drifters, the home opener for the Lefties. All right, we're definitely getting to the late stages now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Evan Schmeiser, joined by Griff McClellan. Top of the 8th inning, the Drifters lead 3-1. Another new pitcher for the Lefties. Nelson Smith will take over on the mound. The big, tall, 6'7", 225-pound right-hander out of Fort Myers, Florida. Pitched last season for the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. Showing bunt. And bunting it foul is Dawson Santana. Santana, Lauderdale, and Brady Culp, the scheduled hitters.
Following a shocking twist at the end of the 7th inning, where a fan may have gone home with, let's say, an unwanted souvenir.
Wait,
with
what
a flying
happened there?
bat.
Griff. The bat is no longer up in the screen. It's not there anymore. I don't think I'm crazy, Griff. Do you see a bat there?
I have no idea where it went.
There's
I
no
lost
bat there
sight of
anymore.
it.
I wonder how, whoever got it down, I wonder how they did it. That
That's
breaking ball's
anyone's
in
guess.
the dirt.
That's anyone's guess at this point. We may never know.
Somebody definitely knows. We're gonna find out, and we're gonna tell the people back home all about it.
We're going to research and investigate this
Yes,
unprecedented storyline.
So that pitch is down and in, 2-1 the count. And Jacob Billings, the guy who threw the bat, he takes over for Piper Sick in center field. Another swing and a miss. Santana way out in front of that one, 2-2 the count. Also seen 4 bats. Yeah, that's the right number. 4 different hitters end up losing their bats on a swing. Billings, though, I think he gets the award. That ball's chopped softly up the first base line, just foul. Kind of threw his bat at the ball, just spinning up the line.
It's one of those odd occurrences. You never know what you'll see at a baseball game. Tonight, with bats going into the stadium, I'm not really sure how else to put it. Just imagine myself as a fan, not only on being on the lookout for foul balls coming my way, but apparently wooden bats now too. Quite an atmosphere here in Port Angeles.
Well, Griff, I'm pretty confident in the chain link fence and our little window that separates us from the whole thing. Out in front of another breaking ball is Santana. Nelson Smith able to start things off with a strikeout in the top of the 8th. Also a really good athlete in his own right on that ground ball, that foul ground ball of the first base line. I saw him break to cover first base. For a big guy, one heck of an athlete. He is a former high school basketball district and regional champion. Like 6'7", it's not the most surprising thing to be playing basketball, but an athletic 6'7", that's an advantage. On the ground up the first base line. Good play by Ethan Young, able to flip over to Smith, covering for the out. And to see that athleticism once again, this time on a fair ball from Nelson Smith. 1-3 on the put up for those keeping score at home. Griff, you see the time right now?
8:31 p.m. We are just under 2 hours of this ball game, and we're already in the top of the 8th inning.
People talk about the announcers' jinxes all the time. That's not one that I really believe in, at least not as far as that's concerned. It is a relevant fact. As Brady Culp takes a fastball in the outside corner, 0-1. Fans are getting into it now, getting some let's go Lefties chants. That breaking ball's in the dirt. Lefties trail it 3-1 to Springfield. 2 outs, nobody on base in the top of the 8th.
Meanwhile, the rain's starting to come down harder as we progress into the late evening in Port Angeles, Washington.
All things considered, a pretty darn good crowd. Weather and all.
Loyal
real
Lefties
cloudy,
fans
real
showing up
cloudy,
to support
gloomy
their
day.
team early on.
Oh, exactly. I mean, look, going around handing out schedule cards to people in the area, whether it's here or over in Squim. That fastball's in there for a called strike 2, 2-2 the count. A lot of people really love the Lefties around here. I mean, way more enthusiasm than you normally see for a summer collegiate team. Here's the 2-2 from Smith. That ball's a line foul down the right field line up into the grandstands.
In response to what you're saying,
that's the first foul ball we've seen kind of go into those old-style right field bleachers.
in response to what you previously said, yes, this is the hot spot time of the year. The Lefties active in summer, bringing together the community of Port Angeles in a unique way. Port Angeles, as we know, has so much to offer, being right on the coast and with beautiful Olympic National Park. The Lefties being a summer spectacle, too. Pretty remarkable.
Second strikeout of the inning for Nelson Smith. He works a 1-2-3, top of the 8th inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. See if the lefties can get some offense going. All right, here we go. 6 outs to play with for the lefties. B.Y. Choi will dig in. He fouls that first pitch right off the mask of the home plate umpire. Excuse me, I think that might have actually hit the catcher, Nate May. Home plate umpire going to walk a baseball back out to Zach Ediger. He's working his 3rd inning in relief. Throwing clean, scoreless innings in the 6th and the 7th. Just allowing 1 single to Barrett Rose, but he was erased on a double play ball. And it's Choi. He's been the only real offensive weapon tonight for the lefties. The RBI single back in the 3rd, playing the only run of the game for Port Angeles. Lefties have had their chances. Just when they're getting guys in scoring position, the strikeouts have gone up. As Choi pops that one up. Left side, the shortstop Santana makes the call. Trotting a couple steps back into the left field grass, and he puts it away. Important out right there for Ediger, as well as the Drifters. That brings up Roberto Nunez. He hit the ball hard his last at bat. The base hit up the middle. He's 1 for 3.
Lefties failing to find any sort of fireworks as of late. Looking to perhaps get a late rally started. We'll see what's in store.
That pitch is way outside, 1-1 the count. Beg your pardon. Roberto Nunez is 2 for 3 tonight. One out, nobody on, bottom of the 8th inning. Lefties trail at 3-1. Good swing from Nunez, but that one's popped up foul down the right field line. That ball going on top of the grandstands out there. Kind of get a sloping roof that overhangs those long bleacher grandstands down the right field line. That ball will roll back into the street. Another pop-up down the right field line, giving Chase his Culp, the first baseman. That ball will get out of play. A lot more room down the right field line at Civic Field. Well, you got to be careful, especially down that right field line. That's all concrete if you're trying to make a web gem up against that wall. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Nunez goes after a breaking ball. There's 2 outs.
Lefties coming up empty yet again. Now down to the 4 outs. Final 4 outs of the evening, unless they can make some late inning magic.
Also the 4th strikeout for Ediger. Swinging at the first pitch and coming up empty is Ethan Young. He's 0 for 3. He bounced into a double play his last time up in the 5th. Ediger working out of the windup. The 0-1. That ball's hit hard. Past the diving Brady Cole. The base hit in the right field. Young takes a big turn, but he'll hold up at first.
And look who it is, the great Ethan Young, a fan favorite here in Port Angeles.
Now at bat, your left fielder, number 1, Camden.
One of the harder hit balls of the game. It gives the lefties a 2-out base runner. Not a whole lot of speed at first in Ethan Young. And they'll bring up Camden Coaster. Representing the tying run. No call timeout. He's going to go talk to Carlos over in the third base coach's box. Perhaps already some of that experience from Carlos Ramirez maybe coming forward for the lefties. First game he's coached this season as the first-year manager of the Port Angeles Lefties. Just getting into town a day ago after coaching in the Junior College World Series in Colorado.
This is what happens when you don't grow up. You still listen to the same music that high school was.
Coaster is 0 for 3 with a couple punch-outs. Home play umpire has to give a few more signals. Ethan Young over at first. The lefties trail it 3-1. The home opener against the Springfield Drifters team that won each of its first 3 matchups against Port Angeles to open the season back in Oregon. The outfield is not all that deep for the Drifters. The first pitch to Coaster, and it's a fastball at the knees for a called strike. The deepest man is actually Garrett Bose in right. He's playing extremely deep. The left fielder, Jeffrey, he's playing relatively shallow. Lauderdale in center, that's about pretty regular depth. The 0-1 pitch. That ball's drilled in the right center field. Over is Bose. That's going to drop. Bose will go over to get it. Big turn from Coaster. He'll hold it first. Going to third on the play will be Ethan Young.
Let's go,
Back-to-back singles for the Port Angeles Lefties. The tying run is on first base.
And the crowd's getting into it too, chanting, "Let's go Lefties," as a mound visit occurs for Springfield.
Now we'll get a
Pivotal
meeting
moment.
on the mound. The entire Drifters infield will come in. Edgar made easy work of the lefty lineup coming out of the bullpen for the 6th and 7th innings, and he was able to get Choi and Nunez pretty easily to start the 8th. Then a single by Young. The rope in the right center field a moment ago from Coaster after the meeting with manager Carlos Ramirez in the third base coach's box. Another opportunity for the lefties. Other than B.Y. Choi single in the third, have not been able to do anything with runners in scoring position. It'll be Barrett Rose. He walked in the second, and he singled back in the 6th. A race on a double play. Swings the first pitch and fouls it back into the fence. Can often get very windy around here in Port Angeles. Things look pretty calm outside right now. How wild would it be if Rose goes deep right here?
Represents the go-ahead run with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th, looking to make some magic.
Big rip at that one, but he pops it up foul. He might have had the lead in mind on a pitch like that. That breaking ball from Edgar, a little bit of a hanger, kind of just spun its way up there. 0-2 the count to Barrett Rose. He represents the go-ahead run. Coaster at first, sees the tying run. Ethan Young at third. Swung on and missed at an 0-2 fastball. Barrett Rose goes down on 3 pitches. Zach Edgar able to work out of the jam once again for the Drifters. 3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen for him. We're through 8 full for the home opener with the Lefties. They trail the Drifters 3-1. It's getting very late in Port Angeles, ladies and gentlemen. We go to the top of the 9th inning. Another new pitcher for the Lefties. Makana Kia will take over in the 9th. And his first pitch is taken outside by Ben Newton. Newton had an RBI single in the 6th inning off of C.J. Lewis. He's also struck out twice. The count works even, the ball and the strike. Kia coming on in relief for Nelson Smith. All things considered, the pitching for the Lefties has been really good. Of course, Standen was excellent to start the game. Lewis, that pitch is taken up high, 2-1. Lewis had a bit of a rough go in the 6th inning. 3 walks in the frame. Really good 7th inning. And Nelson Smith made quick work in the 8th. That ball's lined. Oh, it's off the glove. And over the first in-time cheese. Oh, wow. That was a bizarre play. A line drive off the glove of Roberto Nunez, the second baseman, is able to recover. Flipped it on one hop, and Ethan Young was able to dig it out at first. Well, Griff, the wackiness continues on opening night at Civic Field.
I cannot count on one hand the amount of crazy, rare occurrences we've seen tonight, that being one of them.
The only things we've really missed are a few extra timely hits from the Lefties. That breaking ball is over everyone's head and back to the chain link fence.
They've created so many forms of entertainment tonight, but the one they want most of all, a win, has yet to be executed now. They'll have to make some late magic in the bottom of the 9th.
Showing bunt and bunting that one foul is Ryan Jeffrey. The ball on the strike to him. Makana Kia, the 6'2", 235-pound right-hander out of Hawaii Pacific University. This will be the second game he's pitched. He drew the start a week ago against the Drifters. He went 2 innings, allowed 4 runs, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, trying to work a scoreless 9th. So he works ahead in the count 1-2 to Ryan Jeffrey with 1 out and nobody on base. 7, 8, 9 hitters due up for the Lefties in their half of the 9th. Second baseman Nunez playing about 3 steps into the outfield grass as time's called at home plate. I think with the new shift rules, that would not be allowed in the big leagues. Pretty sure an infielder has to have 2 feet on the infield dirt at the moment the pitch is delivered. The 1-2 pitch is way up and outside, 2-2 the count. Working out of the windup is Kia. He comes set, he'll deal the 2-2. That curveball's down and in, 3-2. Ball game that is just barely over 2 hours old in the top of the 9th. Drifters lead the Lefties 3-1. That ball's fouled back into the screen. First of 3 games in Port Angeles between the Lefties and the Drifters.
The Lefties seeking revenge following their turbulent opening series of the season.
That 3-2 pitch is just low. Boy, Sam Adams was popping up out of his stance. He was ready to start throwing it around the infield, but it's a 1-out walk. Now they'll bring up Nate May.
Number 12, Nate.
May walked and scored in the 3rd. He's 0 for 2 overall. Bounced out to short in the 5th and struck out in the 7th. So that with 1 out, a man on first. The Lefties will look to turn 2. They've already rolled a couple double plays. That fastball's outside 1-0. The third baseman, Alsop, he's playing even with the bag. Nunez and Choi playing a pretty standard double play death, and Young holding the runner on at first. And there goes the runner. That pitch is fouled off. Look out down the right field line in the grandstands. Looks like everyone's okay. There is a light post that's kind of blocking our view. Tough to tell. I thought somebody over there actually made a pretty nice catch, but it's tough to tell. So the count moves to a ball and a strike. Yeah, got to keep your head on the swivel on those grandstand seats. That fastball is a little low, 2-1. 2-1 the count. Makana Kia dealing to Nate May. The runner did go on the last pitch. And he goes once again. The pitch is taken for a strike. The throw down. What's the call? Out is the call at second base. The throw from Sam Adams came in on a hop to Choi, who had to go over to his left towards the right field side of the base to gather the ball. Trying to avoid the tag was Ryan Jeffrey. He ended up oversliding the base, and Choi was able to recover and tag him out.
It looked like Choi bobbled the ball at first, and luckily for his case, able to regain possession and tag the runner out. A pivotal out in the 8th inning.
Now Kia deals the 2-2 pitch, and it's fouled into the screen. 2-2 the count, 2 outs. Now nobody on base for Springfield. Also the second guy that Sam Adams has thrown out stealing.
Good people around here.
Somebody have to start calling him JT Real Muto. Well, he's throwing batters out. Or runners out, beg your pardon. Here's the 2-2 again. That's off the end of the bat. That one's a little softer towards the grandstands. Saw that ball kicking around just a little bit. Still a bit of a scramble. Now a happy fan came up with it. I love seeing some of the battles for a souvenir.
It's every baseball kid's dream. I remember living those days. Always a good time.
Here's the 2-2 again from Kia to May. Way upstairs, 3-2. The 8th man, Garrett Bose, waits on deck. No action whatsoever in the lefty bullpen. Looks like the entire bullpen's actually come towards the dugout. Everyone's standing outside the dugout. Well, this is a really good game. And May takes down low, ball 4. Back-to-back walks, but only one man on first base, with Ryan Jeffrey getting thrown out trying to steal. Also not something you would see a whole lot. A hit-and-run attempt, one pitch, and then the next pitch, a straight steal attempt. At that point, the catcher would kind of be on your case. First pitch fastball's way high once again to Vose. Vose walked in the 3rd, struck out in the 5th, and bounced out to second base in the 7th. A slide step, and a little up and in, 2-0.
Not the most exciting thing in the world, but
Lefties trail at 3-1, 2 outs in the top of the 9th.
it's like kind of a
Makana Kia trying to keep the deficit where it is.
crazy. I went to college.
Bullpen, for the most part, has been outstanding, and that has been a mild question mark coming into play tonight, as that's on the outside corner, 2-1. First of 6 home games for the Lefties, with the Springfield Drifters and the Victoria Harbor Cats. So that's outside, 3-1 the count. All things considered, really exciting, brisk opening night. Very enjoyable ball game. A little bit of everything. Really a little bit of everything. That's high once again, ball 4. 3 consecutive walks from Makana Kia.
This game has the potential to really go down to the wire and have a fascinating finish.
Now batting the DH, Cooper Mullins.
And you have the 9th man coming up in Cooper Mullins, who singled and scored in the 3rd, and he also singled in the 7th. We're going to get a meeting on the mound. This time just the pitching coach and Sam Adams going out to talk to Kia. As I mentioned earlier, nobody in the bullpen. The bullpen for the Lefties is completely vacant. Everyone's now is just watching, observing, rooting for their guys from the dugout. Actually, the dugout may not be the best description either. Standing in front of the dugout. Some of those foul balls we saw this inning, a player there would have to look out if it was hit a little bit lower. At the moment, that caught stealing from Sam Adams looms pretty large. 2 outs and 2 on as opposed to bases loaded with 1 out. It changes the complexion of an inning. We'll see if Kia can regain his command with the lefty Mullins at this. That's a pretty good fastball. Strike one. Leadoff man Callan waits on deck. Some pretty angry Drifters fans. Not too happy with that strike call as that pitch is outside 1-1. That might have been the first sign of life as far as any Springfield fan of the ballpark might have been concerned.
They don't have much to complain about at this stage in the game, though. Leading 3-1 in a series opener this weekend.
Drifters trying to move to 6-1. That ball's off the hands and fought off foul and out of play down the left field line. Just beyond the party deck. Moves the count to a ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs, 2 on. Drifters lead by 2 in the top of the 9th. A longer look in from Kia. It looks like Mullins is standing even closer to the plate and crouching just a little bit more with a 2-strike approach. Doesn't matter, it comes up empty on that fastball. Kia, command issues and all, able to work out of the jam at the top of the 9th. One more chance for the lefties coming up as they trail by 2 in the bottom of the 9th inning when we return. Well, here we go, baseball fans. Last chance for the lefties. They trail 3-1 in the bottom of the 9th. The bottom of the order, Owen Alsop, Trent Jackson, and Sam Adams, the scheduled hitters. Excuse me, that is not Owen Alsop. We got a pinch hitter coming up, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you his name in just a moment. It's a new pitcher, Landon Parker, coming on. Landon Parker coming on for the Springfield Drifters. This will be the 3rd game he's pitched in. So that first pitch is fouled back into the screen. He's gone 2 2/3 overall this season, just 1 earned run to his credit. Lefties just not able to get a whole lot of offense going. had their chances throughout the game, not able to cash in with men in scoring position. That's where we are, trailing it 3-1. Really good game overall. Great pitching, some really good defense, some wacky moments. That ball sprayed foul down the left field line, 0-2 the count. Derek Gifford is our pinch hitter. He's 1 for 2 in his limited opportunities. It's a couple at bats in the early going of his season. That curveball's a little low, 1-2. Gifford out of Howard Payne University. 6 foot tall, 175-pound left-handed hitter. Trying to give the lefties some life in the bottom of the ninth. Doubles it softly up the third base line. And it's picked up by Count and across the diamond, safe at first base. Infield single coming off the bench, Derek Gifford. And the tying run is coming to the plate for the Port Angeles Lefties.
Now batting your right fielder.
This is getting interesting. This is getting very tense for the Drifters. Big question, can Port Angeles finally capitalize?
The eighth man, Trent Jackson, will dig in representing the tying run. Just kind of fought off up the third base line. I thought Calvin was going to let it roll for just a moment. Then he decided to backhand it, and that indecision ended up costing him. It was just that much time that allowed Gifford to beat the play at first. And boy, the way he was running, he could smell a hit. A pretty good lead, but that will see him running. His run doesn't matter right now. And Jackson able to work ahead 2-0. Trent Jackson reached on a strikeout wild pitch in the fourth, and he bounced out to second base in the second inning. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That ball's popped up down the left field line. Jeffries over in the foul territory. Oh, wait a minute. He dropped the ball, and it actually looped back in the fair territory. Wow. Can you believe that?
And still nobody out. A fortunate bounce for Port Angeles with the winning run coming to the plate now as the game lies in the hands of Sam Adams.
Look, all things considered, our view is a little bit obstructed looking down the left field line. The left fielder, Jeffrey, was sprinting over towards the line. He went into foul territory. Then all of a sudden, he started stumbling over to his left, tried to make a bit of a circus catch and couldn't do it. We're going to get a meeting on the mound from the Drifters as the go-ahead run will come to the plate.
Sam Adams batting .244 on the season for Stephen F. Austin. Young catcher from Fort Worth, Texas, a rising senior, looking to play hero tonight in Port Angeles in their home opener.
As the meeting on the mound concludes, Landon Parker coming in to try and pick up the save. The tying runs are on base. The winning run is at the plate. It'll be a pinch hitter. Chase Taylor will bat in the 9 spot for the catcher, Sam Adams. Taylor out of Hawaii Pacific University. A long look in from Landon Parker. The Drifters will look to turn 2. He swings the first pitch. It's hit softly to the third baseman. Callan picks up. He has plenty of time to fire across the diamond. But how softly that ball is hit. Both runners able to advance. Now second and third with 1 out.
And both tying runs in scoring position for the lefties.
And that'll be Jacob Billings. Came in as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning for Jacob Pipersick. Last at bat, we did see him hurl his bat to the top of the screen, but now he bats representing the winning run. Both tying runs on base. Second and third, 1 out, and he's ahead 1-0. Can the Lefties strike fire? The home half of the ninth inning, the home opener trailing it by 2 to the Springfield Drifters. B.Y. Choi waits on deck, Roberto Nunez in the hole.
Can Billings potentially send these fans home happy? That's the question.
Oh, well, that'd be wild if he goes deep right here. Parker working out the stretch. That curveball's down and away, 2-0. The lefty fans, desperate for their guys to pick up a big hit with a man in scoring position. They've had all sorts of chances, not able to cash in. The 2-0 swung on and missed. Big-time fastball from Parker. Derek Gifford at third base, starting this inning with an infield single. That pitch is popped up foul. Chase Taylor at second base with a misplay from the left fielder Ryan Jeffrey on the ball that will go down as a base hit. Just with the way that looked, trying to make that catch. Here's the 2-2 with one out, men on second and third. Low, 3-2. First base is open, but you do have the dangerous Choi waiting on deck. Three and two, the count. Parker comes set. Here's the pitch to Billings, and it hits him right on the hand. And they appeal the swing to the field umpire. He says no swing, painful at that, but the bases are loaded with one out. Now the winning run is at first base. Boy, you couldn't write a much better script, Griff. You have B.Y. Choi, the chance to tie, maybe even win the ball game. Coming off a tremendous season at New Mexico Military Institute, a whopping 15 home runs, slugging numbers just off the chart in all that altitude. Just transferred to Dallas Baptist University. We know he's feeling good about that recent chain of events. Slow start. He has the big RBI single in the third. Now a chance to maybe send the Port Angeles faithful home happy.
Needs 2 to tie the game. Could potentially get 3 here on one breakthrough hit. As you mentioned, he's reached base tonight. Can he do it again? B.Y. Choi, the man of the hour. Fan favorite here.
That's a good way to put it. Choi is 0 for 4. Excuse me, 1 for 4. Beg your pardon, 1 for 4. I just mentioned that single in the third a moment ago. Bases loaded, 1 out. He swings the first pitch, and it's a foul to the left side.
Not the greatest night for Choi, who's usually very productive. But at this stage in the game, he can make up for all that right here with a base hit.
The Drifters will look to turn 2. The middle infield is playing a little deeper than normal, just trying to knock something down and get an out. That breaking ball's in there for a called strike 2 and a good one. 0-2 the count to Choi. Gifford at third. Taylor over at second. And Billings, the winning run at first base. Here's the 0-2. The ball's in the air down the left field line. Callanan is over, and it's out of play. The rain continues to fall, coming down just a little bit harder now.
Not
Still
seeming to bother the fans, though.
No, still a strong crowd remaining. The Choi is now up against it. Behind in the count, 0-2. Landon Parker trying to shut the door for Springfield. The 0-2 is fouled into the screen again. Pretty good hack from Choi. Weather and all, a lot of people still here at Civic Field, just waiting to explode with a base hit. Parker has his sign. He comes set again. The 0-2. Swung on and missed. Fastball towards the outer half. Choi strikes out. He's 1 for 5 today. And it all comes down to Roberto Nunez. He's 2 for 4 today. Couple singles and a couple punch-outs. A chance to tie the game with a base hit. Pretty good speed all the way around. That first pitch, that's lined in the right field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Gifford scores. Here comes Taylor. The throw's not in time. Roberto Nunez has just tied the game in the bottom of the 9th inning. 3-3.
Game on, baby. The fans have been waiting for this all night long. And with 1 out to go, they get their wish. We have a tie ball game in the bottom of the 9th. It doesn't get better than this.
Now batting your first base.
Boy, you talk about flipping the switch. First pitch swinging. We saw him do it once already. Nunez just lacing one in the right field. And now a chance to win it. It's Ethan Young. He swings the first pitch. That's it pretty well in the left center field. Lauderdale is over. And did he get it? Yes, he's able to make the catch as he goes sprinting into the alleyway. Boy, Ethan Young came close just now to sending everybody home. But we have some free baseball coming up right here in Port Angeles. 3-3 we go in the top of the 10th thanks to Mr. Roberto Nunez. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody. We're set for the top of the 10th inning. Top of the order coming up for the Drifters. Makanakia back out for his second inning of work. So his first pitch is over the head of Cole Cownan, and it goes to the backstop. Roberto Nunez just tied the game with a 2-run single with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th a moment ago. All new ball game in the 10th inning. Both teams are not using a ghost runner at second base, like a lot of us have grown accustomed to seeing. So, empty base paths, a 2-0 count to Cole Cownan. Cownan walked in the first. A 2-1 count now. RBI on a safety squeeze in the third, a walk in the 6th, and a pop out in the 7th. So that pitch is high, 3-1 the count. We did see Makanakia battling his command in the top half of the 9th, issuing 3 walks, able to work around the jam, thanks to Sam Adams able to throw somebody out stealing. So that's in there for a called strike, 3-2. Dawson Santana waits on deck, Sam Lauderdale in the hole. Here's a 3-2 pitch from Kia out of the windup. That ball's right under the legs of the first baseman Young in the right field. The ball was spinning all sorts of ways, and it just stayed down. Young not able to make the play. It'll be an E3 all the way. That brings up Dawson Santana.
Now batting number 7, Dawson Santana.
Santana struck out in the first, doubled. He doubled in a run in the third. Walked in the sixth, and struck out in the eighth. And the lefties will bring the infield in, anticipating a bunt. Santana does show bunt, and he takes a fastball in the outside corner. Santana not liking the call. Alsop was charging from third on the play. He shows bunt again. That one's popped up. Oh, right up into the screen. A break right there from Santana with that screen just kind of hanging over home plate. He is behind in the count 0-2. See if he elects to square around and show bunt again. And the lefty set up to turn 2 with no outs. Counting over at first base and a tie game in the 10th inning. Santana does show bunt, but it's upstairs. The rain coming down a lot harder now. We can hear it along our roof.
These fans not leaving just yet, though.
No, of course not. Opening night, free baseball. Way outside again as Santana shows bunt. Kia taking his time between pitches. Every pitch is big, especially in a situation like this. He comes set. Here's the 2-2. And it's a good bunt. It's up the first base line. Young coming to get it. No, actually, it's Makana Kia who's able to get it. And he flips to the second baseman, Nunez, covering first. Boy, excellent bunt from Santana. Really just an excellent display of small ball overall from the Drifters. Successful sacrifice bunt puts a man in scoring position.
We got a pinch hitter, number 38.
And it'll be Sam Lauderdale who will dig in as the scheduled hitter. Sam bats with the go-ahead run at second base in Cole County, and he swings the first pitch and fouls it back. Lauderdale, he's 0 for 4. 2 punch-outs, hit into a double play, and he grounded out to the pitcher. So a rough day for him, but an opportunity to give his Drifters the lead in extra innings. Counting at second, a pretty good lead from him, and that fastball is outside 1-1. A ball and a strike the count. Still plenty of fans remaining. Outfield not playing deep. That ball's drilled foul down the left field line and out of play.
Appeared to have landed in the parking lot.
Well, I can tell you this, Griff. I parked further. I have the last spot deep down the left field line. You need somebody to really get into one in order to get to my car.
Seems like a safe bet. Good choice, bud.
Here's the 1-2 pitch from Kia. That's inside 2-2. You know, in a game like this, hard to say how long we're going to go. Wonder what kind of pitching both teams will have available tomorrow. Especially out of the bullpens. Busy bullpen night. Here's the 2-2 with 1 out. Swung on and missed. Lauderdale goes down on strikes for the third time and a big punch out for Kia. That brings up Brady Culp.
Now batting number 30, Brady Cole.
Culp is 0 for 3 with a walk in the sixth. Well, that with 2 outs. Counting at second as he takes a fastball inside.
Take one off the wet. Wow. I see what he's doing.
First base is open with Ben Newton waiting on deck.
Meanwhile, the rain roaring louder throughout the night by the minute.
Yeah, I think some of the folks might be able to hear some of the thuds from back home. As that pitch misses high 2-0. Yeah, it's coming down now. It's definitely coming down. Granted, if you're Kia, though, got to be a little bit careful right here. First base is open, and you're behind 2-0 in the count. That's a little high, 3-0. Close pitch, but it goes to the hitter. Now we'll see if Culp gets the green light. Ahead 3-0. Have to think they give him a green light, especially if he gets a cookie. Here's the 3-0. Looked like he did get the green light, but he takes it for a strike. Good chance he'll get that same fastball once again. Well, we saw in the 9th inning, the lefties had their bullpen vacated. Now they have action once again. As that ball clanks off of Culp, right off of his hip. Puts men on first and second now with 2 outs.
A golden opportunity for the Drifters to escape Game 1 with a victory if they can convert a solo, just a single base hit here.
It brings up Ben Newton. He did record an RBI single in the 6th inning. 1 for 4 overall. We're going to get a meeting on the mound. Yep, and there's the signal. There is the call to the bullpen. Makanakia done for the night. An inning and 2/3. 2 base runners are his responsibility. We'll be back in just a moment with the new pitcher. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we stand, top of the 10th inning, 2 on, 2 outs for the Drifters. In a tie ball game at 3, Brock Mayer will take over on the mound in relief of Makanakia. And they'll face Ben Newton. This will be the 4th game that Mayer's pitched in. He's been pretty good. Only 3 hits allowed over his 3 outings, just a single earned run allowed. So that first pitch is outside 1-0 to Newton. A base hit would likely give Springfield the lead. I mean, the way it's raining and the wet grass, it'd be tough to try and throw anybody out. So that ball's popped up down the left field line, and that'll get out of play. And Civic Field continues to get pounded with rain. It stayed pretty dry most of the ballgame. Then the later innings, things started to pick up, and it's a little lighter now than it was maybe 10 minutes ago. Field's still very much playable.
For how long, though, is the question.
The 1-1 from Mayer. Curveball in there for strike 2. Good pitch for the 6'1 righty out of Chaffee College. Trying to pick up a big out in the top of the 10th and give the lefties a chance to win it in the bottom half. Here's the 1-2. That ball's just hit foul. Barely got a piece of it, did Newton. Once again, guys, we'll be back at it tomorrow night, 6:35, same time, same place. First of 6 consecutive home games for the lefties. Here's the 1-2 with 2 outs and 2 on. Swung on and missed. Brock Mayer able to come out of the bullpen, shut the door in the 10th inning. That retires the side. Lefties able to work out of a jam. We go to the bottom of the 10th. A chance for the lefties to win it. Welcome back to the bottom of the 10th inning, ladies and gentlemen. Still a tie game at 3 between the Drifters and the Lefties. Cam Coaster, Barrett Rose, and Derek Gifford due up 5-6-7. Landon Parker back out for a second inning of work. He delivers a strike on the inside corner.
You know, honestly, they should just say, hey, Nick, you're going to be the guy, so here's the thing, and I'll just throw up my music and I'll spend my off time.
Coaster trying to get things started, give the Lefties a chance to win the game. That ball's ripped, but caught by the third baseman, Cole Cownan. Boy, Coaster hit that ball a ton, but a hard out.
Just an absolute rocket to left field. But great awareness by Cownan just now. Both teams hungry for a game-changing hit. Both teams hungry for a really epic series opening win tonight. If this is the kind of game we can expect throughout the series, we're in for a treat the next week.
Well, granted, the rain does continue to fall. A little harder once again as Barrett Rose takes a curveball outside. Rose walked back in the second, singled in the fourth, so he's 1 for 4. The broken bat, that ball's looped in the left field. Coming on and making the catch is Ryan Jeffrey. Thought just for a moment that ball had a chance to get down, but it hung up long enough.
Right fielder, Trent Jackson.
Boy, Jeffrey makes that look so
brings
easy in
up
the slippery field
that brings
conditions.
up Derek Gifford. Derek Gifford will bat with 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th inning. Came on as a pinch hitter for Owen Alsop. Was able to get things started with an infield single. He takes a first pitch breaking ball outside. Infield single on a ball that maybe only came off the bat at about 40 miles per hour. Just kind of couldn't have rolled it much better up the third base line. Swung on and missed at a fastball that, well, missed outside by a good amount. But he got the swing. 2 outs, nobody on base. Here's the 1-1 from Parker out of the windup. The changeup. He gets a swing through from Gifford. Swung over the top of that one. A ball and 2 strikes to Gifford. Landon Parker, after blowing the save in the 9th inning, trying to work a 1-2-3 10th. Here he is out of the windup, the 1-2. That one's off the end of the bat, looped into left field. Jeffrey coming on. He makes the call and the catch.
To the 11th inning we go.
Yes, sir. 1-2-3. Go the Lefties in their half of the 10th. More free baseball coming up in a tie ball game at 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming back a little bit early. As you can tell, that both the Lefties have not taken the field. Saw a meeting between both umpires and both sets of coaches. It looks like they are going to call the game right now. Tough to tell exactly. They're talking about suspending the game or right where we are with nobody out, nobody on base in the top of the 11th inning. A tie game at 3. It looks like we are done for that. We'll keep you guys here just a little bit longer just to make sure nothing changes. I'm not sure exactly if this game's going to end in a tie or if they're going to suspend the game and pick things up tomorrow.
We're still awaiting word from the umpires who are conversing near the mound.
Well, now it looks like lefty owner and also coach Matt Acker. He's standing on the mound right now. He's on his phone. I can only assume that he's calling the West Coast League office. Both umpires are standing out there with them. I guess trying to get confirmation to see, can we continue the game tonight? Or is the league office going to allow the game to continue tonight? One of those things, chain of command becomes very important. Very, very important. In case anyone happens to just be joining us, wild sequence of events starting in the 9th inning. The The Lefties were trailing 2-1 most of the ball game, then 3-1 after the 6th inning. Roberto Nunez was able to tie the game with 2 outs in the 9th on a 2-run single. And then we played a scoreless 10th inning on both sides. We're tied at 3 in the top of the 11th. And it looks like both umpires, as well as Lefties owner Matt Acker,
Are
have
leaving the
walked
field.
off. Yeah, it looks like okay. Both the umpires are walking off with. Yeah, it looks like both umpires are walking off.
And
I
some
see the
fans,
Springfield Drifters. They're all huddled together by their bullpen, talking things over.
and fans heading for the exits too. We don't have official confirmation yet. We will let you all know ASAP. But it appears the game has been suspended or postponed or maybe called a tie. And it seems very likely that at this point the game will not resume.
Griff,
this
you're right.
evening.
Yeah, we're definitely done for the night here in Port Angeles. Exciting opening night, nonetheless. Check out the Port Angeles Lefties website as well as the social media page to get word on exactly what the result of this game is going to be and if it's going to be picked up tomorrow. We know we're going to have baseball tomorrow, whether it's resuming a suspended game or just starting the next game as scheduled. And we hope to have you guys all right back here. If you're in town, come out to the ballpark.
It's
Really good baseball in Port Angeles. Have a great rest of your night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us.